Hello guys, today we are going to learn how to create a new terrain in Unity. Open Unity, set your project name as tutorial. I'm going to set it as tutorial. Add assets. I'm going to add green forest. It is in Unity Asset Store. It is completely free. It have trees and logs, bushes and stuffs. It will take some time to create the project as I have added asset in it. So let's get done with this quickly. Okay, now here we are inside Unity. First, let's create a game object, 3D object, terrain. We need a terrain. But the terrain is too big for me right now, so I'll just decrease the size to 300. Width and land into 300. Apply it, and now it is perfect for me. Okay, first we have to create the base of our terrain. We can use this tool to raise or lower terrain to create mountains and stuffs. So I'll just increase the opacity and increase the brush size. um, that's how you create mountains in Unity. Just drag a cursor over the terrain, it will raise the terrain. To lower the terrain, you just have to hold the shift key and drag the cursor over the terrain, and it will lower the terrain. So now the directional light is a bit uncomfortable to my eyes, so I'll just adjust it. Press the E key, and it will appear some axis over the directional light. Just adjust the axis and you will adjust the direction of the light. Okay, we are done adjusting the terrain, so let's start adding texture. Search for the texture in Google or Google Images. First I'll search for the grass texture. This one looks pretty nice for our project. Let's just save it. Next I'll search for mountain textures. Okay, seems we can't find anything mountain texture, so let's just search by rock textures. Now there are some pretty decent texture in rock texture. Okay, this one will do. Let's just save this. Okay, now we need to search one more texture, the dirt texture. Okay, we'll just go with this one. Okay, now we just have to copy the three texture into the assets folder in our project file. Let's just paste it here. The assets are loading. And now here we are with our asset. Let's just create a file, texture, and copy the three texture into the file. Uh, to edit some texture, we have to go inside the paintbrush in the inspector window of our terrain. Then click on the edit texture, add texture. A window will pop up. Whenever we have to edit a texture, we have to create a normal map of that texture. Let's just duplicate that image. Let's just rename it and set it into rock underscore nm. Nm stand for normal map. Set the type of texture into normal map. Apply. Color of the texture will turn in a bluish color. Next, drag the two texture into the texture window and resize it. I'll set it at S2. It's a bit too small for me, so I'll just edit the texture, resize it as 5. Okay, that is fine by me. Let's just look around. Okay, now I'll start with the grass texture. Just as we did with the rock texture, let's just create a duplicate of it, rename it as grass nm, and the other one is grass. I don't want this all of the stuffs. And just edit texture, add texture, drag the grass and the normal of grass into the texture window. Now in this we have to paint the texture. Okay, the size of the texture is fine by me. It looks pretty real. So now let's continue painting. Just increase the brush size and let's just paint it. Just as we did with the terrain, if we press the shift key and then drag, the texture will be removed. And let's just paint it here. Yeah, and a bit over here. A little bit over there. Yeah, that's it. Now let's get started with our dirt. And then duplicate it, rename it as normal, and set the type. Apply. Edit texture, add texture, drag the two dirt into it, resize it, add. Let's just paint the dirt and make a pathway. With the dirt is fine by me. Okay, first before we start painting dirt, let's just add trees. Let's just search for a tree. Okay, this pine looks okay. Increase the brush size, decrease the size of the tree. Range will be between this. Okay, the tree looks fine by me. Let's just decrease the size. The tree looks fine. It looks pretty much real. That's fine. So now if we press shift and then drag the cursor, it will delete the trees just as on the terrain and the texture. we'll make a pathway here by, and here also, to make it a bit more realistic. If there's only a pathway inside a forest, it won't look nice. So let's just make a ground. Delete some trees from here. Okay, that's good. Now let's just paint our road, decrease the opacity. Okay, that is the road. Okay, now if it's only the rock texture for the mountain, it looks a bit unrealistic, right? So let's just decrease the opacity and slightly paint the dirt texture over the mountain so that it looks a bit more realistic over the grounds. Increase the opacity and just paint it over the ground. Okay, our terrain looks pretty nice. Now let's just paint a bit of grass over there. If that is too much opacity, decrease the opacity. It looks good. Let's paint some of grasses over there to make it look a bit more realistic. Let's just paint some grass over here, as there's no grass at the end of the mountain. Let's just paint it slightly. Our terrain looks very good now. Now let's paint a bit of dirt at our ground. Decrease the opacity to very minimum and then paint it. And if you overlap the opacity, it will look a bit bolder. It will look nice. To make it a bit more realistic, let's just add some things. My favorite is this log, the tree log. Adjust the brush size, density, and the size of the object. Okay, now let's start adding bushes. You have noticed these areas, right? Where on mountains there are bushes. Let's just adjust the size and the density. That is a bit too small. Okay, that is also small. Decrease the density. No, that's not good. Increase the size, decrease the density. That is a bit too small. Perfect. That is the size. Let's just paint a bit of bushes over the mountains where the things are a bit empty, as I don't want our terrain to look a bit empty. That's it guys, that's our terrain. We have made it. It looks pretty nice. I hope this video is helpful and you guys like it. Enjoy Unity.